This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
I have seen a rapid increase in accidents along the road.
Tonight, Google goes off-road. Concerns from Island First Nations over dangerous online directions prompt a response from one of the world's biggest companies. Also ahead.
There's still a little uncertainty about when things will be up and running.
Cedar Hill completion. After a small setback delayed day one, it's finally back to the classroom for hundreds of students at Cedar Hill Middle School. Plus, Adam finds out what happened after a mother and daughter in Saanich were inspired to write a romance novel together. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Students across the province are back at their desks for a second day today, except for a few hundred on southern Vancouver Island. A new school in Saanich has yet to open, and we're hearing mixed messages about whether teachers will have a chance to get inside to set up their classrooms before the first day back. CTV's Anna McMillan has the story.
As students return to schools up and down Vancouver Island, this one sits empty.
There's still a little uncertainty about when things will be up and running.
While most kids were back in class yesterday, the replacement for Saanich's old Cedar Hill Middle School wasn't ready. As a result, the Greater Victoria School District says it plans to welcome students back tomorrow.
In terms of academic achievement, no. Teachers can make this up, no problem. I think what's really most important is that teachers get a chance to set things up so when the kids come back, it's ready.
A district spokesperson says this week staff have been preparing for the new year at the school board office, and they'll have time to set up their spaces before classes begin. As of this afternoon,
teachers haven't been able to be in the building at all, and we're not aware of when they will be able to be in the building.
That's according to the president of the Greater Victoria Teachers Association. CTV News asked the school district for clarification on whether teachers can get inside and if an occupancy permit has been secured. We did not hear back by deadline.
If there's construction delays that, just have been unavoidable, people understand that, but they also really rely on getting a little bit of heads up about what might be needed.
Unable to give an on-camera interview today, the district says it had informed parents of a late start, noting unforeseen delays in the build had to be resolved on September 2nd before the building was deemed safe and accessible for entry.
What I do know is that the teachers are going to be excited to see those kids, and the kids are going to love their new space when it opens.
While the district plans to have students back to class tomorrow morning, the Teachers Association says it's unclear how ready those classrooms will be. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Saanich.
Some tense moments on board the Spirit of Vancouver Island during the 1 p.m. sailing between Tsawwassen and Swartz Bay this afternoon as crews rescued a person who went overboard. BC Ferry says the sailing was stopped near Tsawwassen after reports of a passenger who had gone overboard. A second ferry, the Queen of New Westminster, quickly joined the rescue. Crew members deployed rescue boats, located the person, and brought them back to the terminal where BC Ambulance rushed them to hospital in stable condition. BC Ferry says due to the incident, there will be a 1-hour sailing delay on the major route. People on board the Spirit of Vancouver Island who witnessed the rescue telling CTV News the crew should be commended for its quick action. To the west coast of Vancouver Island now, where unsuspecting motorists are getting lost on logging roads thanks to faulty directions given to them by Google. It happened in the aftermath of a wildfire that shut down the road to Bamfield. As CTV's Brendan Strain reports, the mix-up has local First Nations renewing their call to have the province step in for the sake of safety.
Reports of people getting lost while using the detour route between Yubo and Bamfield are growing as the road closure caused by the Mount Underwood wildfire has no end in sight.
The Google Maps system only goes on a postal code, so they use Canada Post addresses. And when you're out on logging roads, there's no such thing as street addresses or postal codes.
Not to mention along the roughly 100-kilometer stretch of road, there's no cell service, forcing users to pre-research their trip, then hope for the best.
As a result, they show some routes open even though they're not because the gates are locked.
Google telling CTV News the company has now updated its maps after receiving feedback from drivers and local authorities. In light of this, both the Hawaiian and the Didi First Nations are renewing 2 calls to the province.
The signage on that back road is not good. The signage is very poor.
The province has installed 4 temporary electronic message boards along the detour route until the road to Port Alberni, damaged by the wildfires, reopened.
There is a need for the temporary signage, but more so there is a need for the permanent signage.
The second call for the province to take over the road, making it a safer, permanent option of getting to the West Coast.
The best thing to do would be to pave it properly, and that would require the province's involvement.
I have seen a rapid increase in accidents along the road.
Over the past 10 days, Chief Councillor Judy Thomas says that she has seen tires that have been severed from their axles, boat trailers with blown tires, and cars that have driven off the poorly maintained road.
One was a local community member out at Nitnat. They were saved by a tree. They were going over the bank, and one lone tree on that road stopped that vehicle from going right down the bank.
In a statement today, the province says permanent signage is not being considered at this time, and that the Ministry of Transportation and Transit has no plans to take ownership of the current detour route. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
The picket line is growing on day 2 of strike action for the BC General Employees Union as hundreds more workers hit the streets of the capital region and beyond. Over 2,600 workers in ministries across the province walked off the job yesterday. The union, representing BC's public service workers, says strike action remains strongly supported by its members, especially those working in and around Victoria. Of the 9 official picket line locations across BC, 7 are within the borders of the capital region, with additional pickets popping up in Prince George and Surrey. 92.7% of union members voted in favor of strike action last week.
There's a few issues, but what this boils down to is that government has provided a wage offer that is below inflation, below, what Daniel Smith's Alberta government has offered their civil servants, below the maximum allowable rent increase, and frankly is below the expectations not only of the civil service, but also the general public in BC.
A spring survey conducted by the BCGEU revealed that public service wages have not kept up with the cost of living, as nearly half of union members say they're living paycheck to paycheck, with an additional 22% saying they need a second job just to make ends meet. An update now on the potential labor dispute at Hullo Ferry. The BC Ferry and Marine Workers Union, which represents Hullo Ferry workers, will be meeting with the passenger ferry service tonight after employees voted heavily in favor of job action. 91% of the 80 unionized workers voted in favor of a strike, and this comes after talks between the two sides broke down. The union still has to give 72-hour strike notice before walking off the job. It says the vote sends a clear message to the employer.
We began last year polling membership, and that polling has continued up and through last week. And what we've heard consistently was compensation, wages and benefits, scheduling, so knowing and being able to plan your life.
The union has been seeking its first collective agreement with Hullo for almost a year now. In a statement, Hullo Ferry says its most recent proposal includes competitive compensation and enhanced benefits, which is a step towards a shared goal. The Regional District of Nanaimo has purchased a massive chunk of wetlands and mature second-growth forest south of the town of Qualicum Beach. There's a small catch, though. It needs your help to get across the finish line. It's roughly 360 hectares of land known as the Hamilton Marsh. It's owned by Island Timberlands and managed under Mosaic Forest Management. The Regional District made an offer of $30 million to purchase the land, but has come up a little shy, needing about $7.5 million before March 31st in order to close the sale. It's now looking for contributions from the province and conservation groups.
Hamilton Marsh lands has been an area of acquisition priority for over 20 years. It's been in Parks and Trail strategies, goes back to 1995, reconfirmed in the 2000s, and then reconfirmed most recently in the most recent Parks and Trail strategy.
The Hamilton Wetlands and Forest Preservation Society has been protecting, advocating, and educating people about the area for the past 20 years, and it wants to see it preserved forever.
People should get involved because this is an incredible ecosystem and it needs preserving. I don't think there's ever been an acquisition of this size within the RDN or the Mount Arrowsmith Biosphere.
More information about the Hamilton Marsh can be found on the RDN and the Preservation Society's website. Sports fans in Central Saanich now have a new place to practice thanks to a state-of-the-art facility at Centennial Park. The 17,000 square foot multi-use sports box is designed to host a range of different athletic activities, including lacrosse, ball hockey, pickleball, and much more. The durable playing surface is protected by an overhead roof equipped with new lights and all-weather covering, extending the sports box's usability to all hours throughout the year.
We want to have some mix of both drop-in availability, but also availability for user groups to make bookings. The primary focus of this, just because of the interest that we've had so far and the fact that so many leagues like pickleball and lacrosse are interested in the space, the primary focus is through associations and leagues. However, if you go to the Peninsula Recreation Commission or Panorama Rec Center website, you can see all details on bookings, availability.
Modeled after the success of Nanaimo's multi-sport box in Harewood Park, the $4.9 million project on the Saanich Peninsula is now open and ready to be booked. Still to come, calls to cut foreign worker programs.
And to stop issuing visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
Canada's Conservative leader looks to spur on change to the nation's immigration policy as Mark Carney and his cabinet discuss the country's best path forward.
Temperatures hit 26 degrees for a daytime high in Victoria today. We're at 23 right now. Should be in the mid-20s for a high again tomorrow, and some wildfire smoke may come into play in the coming days. Your forecast is next.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
Hey, West Shore Youth, looking for a fun spot to hang out? Youth nights are here. Skating, art, swims, and a place to chill. Staff-led and supervised for a safe, inclusive vibe. Check out wspr.ca for more info.
All right, Josh joins us now. A little warmer today than yesterday?
Yeah, into the mid-20s today. We're still 24 degrees at the airport, 26 for a daytime high. Look at Nanaimo's up 30, 33 in Port Alberni. For the time being, most areas are reporting low to moderate risk as far as the air quality health index is concerned, but I think smoke may start to become more of a factor here. We have some advisories for the mainland areas. This region here is going to start to spin some of this thicker smoke from off to the south and southeast back towards the Victoria area. So you can see the smoke's really bad up around Vancouver, down through the Abbotsford region. Victoria, you got some 4s. So in the blues, that's pretty good air quality. In the yellows, that's a moderate risk. This is a high to very high risk. I don't think we ever quite get into the high to very high risk, but watch what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours. There's a little bit of a haze from Victoria up towards Nanaimo at times tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, I think Friday is probably the haziest day for Victoria up through Nanaimo, maybe as far north as Port Alberni. And so tomorrow and tonight, it's not going to be all that bad, but Friday, you're probably going to notice that smoke a little bit more. In the north, smoke should not be an issue. You will see some patchy drizzle, though, through the morning hours. Highs of about 17 for tomorrow and Friday. Sunny breaks in the afternoon. Through the weekend, looks drier with temperatures still in the mid to high teens, so just slightly cooler than average. Inland areas, 30 degrees tomorrow once again. And a little hazy, although probably smokier Friday than tomorrow. 27 on Friday and then back to the low 20s for the weekend. 18s for the next 3 days out on the west coast. Chance of some drizzle tomorrow morning and then sunshine in the afternoon. 18 puts you right around average for this time of year. Comox, a little hazy tomorrow and again Friday. 28 degrees tomorrow. So one more day of heat tomorrow and then back closer to average for Friday through the weekend and into Monday. And in Nanaimo, again, Friday's probably worse for smoke than tomorrow, but both days we'll notice a little bit of haze. 28, 29 degrees for a daytime high tomorrow, and then about 23 for Friday, Saturday. In Victoria, 15 degrees tomorrow morning, mixed sun and cloud. It looks like a low to moderate risk for the air quality health index, but a little bit of smoke, especially through the mid part of the day, early afternoon hours as well. 24 for a high, so one more day in the mid-20s. Back closer to average, though, 20 to 22 range for Friday through the weekend and into Monday. And again, Friday likely a little smokier than tomorrow, although we'll take a closer look at that and update you on that tomorrow. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So it's been a not bad summer, Nafisa, as far as the smoke is concerned, but looks like that is going to be a little bit more of an issue in the coming days.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Thank you, Josh. Well, today, Pierre Poilievre called on the federal government to end the temporary foreign worker program, proposing that permits be wound down until that program ceases to exist. The Conservative leader says those largely low-paying jobs can be filled by Canadians. But as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, it may not be that simple.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre wants to abolish Canada's temporary foreign worker program
and to stop issuing visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
Prime Minister Mark Carney said today Cabinet is discussing how the program is working, but asserted it'll continue to play a part in Canada's immigration system.
When I talk to businesses around the country, particularly in Quebec, but elsewhere across the country, their number one issue is tariffs, and their number two issue is access to temporary foreign workers.
Poilievre's plan includes a carve-out for agricultural labor and an up to 5-year transition period for regions with ultra-low unemployment.
The turnover is insanely high. It's really hard to fill those labor needs domestically.
This 8th-generation farmer said the suggestion has tilled up a lot of concern in his community.
I don't know how you do away with a temporary foreign worker program in totality without potentially harming the agriculture streams.
Migrants' rights advocates say what Poilievre is proposing wouldn't come close to solving this country's employment challenges and accused him of leveraging division over immigration to get back in the national conversation.
Temporary foreign workers are in agriculture, they're chefs, they're in fishery workers. These are not summer youth jobs, right? So linking the two is as bizarre as sort of linking, the wages in Ontario with the weather in Saskatchewan.
The Federal Immigration Department said today that fewer new temporary workers entered Canada in the first half of this year compared to 2024, and continued reductions are planned. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
TELUS users near Port McNeill had their services stalled for a majority of the day after an apparent act of vandalism caused an area-wide outage. According to the TELUS website, the outage, which was caused by damage to vital infrastructure, was first reported around 4:15 this morning. It affected all phone and internet services in the area, including the 911 landline. While it's mainly impacted communities around Port Hardy and Port McNeill, interruptions were reportedly felt as far away as Tassis and Sayward. Service to the area was restored around 2:30 p.m. Coming up, book bond. Adam finds out why a mother and daughter decided to work together to co-write a romance novel. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
A trusted voice focused on Vancouver Island first.
Good news for tourism.
Sharing stories.
We're here at Esquimalt Lagoon
that hit closest to home.
Housing is a growing issue. What's your plan?
Watch weekdays at 4:30 and at ctvnewsvancouverisland.ca.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Finally, Adam meets a mother and daughter in Saanich, embarking on a new chapter in their relationship on tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Well, it was not unusual for Kathleen and Raina Lawless to be watching a rom-com that day. How the mother and daughter responded to the movie was.
We thought, that was so clever. I wish we had come up with that.
After Raina casually came up with a far better plot, Kathleen made a formal invitation.
We could create a really great romance together.
Although Kathleen was a pro who'd had more than 60 romance novels published, and Raina's job was completely unrelated to writing, she accepted the challenge.
I felt like I really had to step up and kind of bring my A game to this.
The plan was for Kathleen to write a rough draft, Raina to make it more contemporary, and then email the chapters back and forth until they were both satisfied.
It was very frustrating.
The mother and daughter worked differently. Kathleen wrote quick, Raina was contemplative, and then, after taking 9 months to finish it all, the test readers felt it was flawed.
I took it hard.
And finding the courage to take the next steps were far from easy.
It's like ripping out knitting and starting all over again.
But through rebuilding their book together, Kathleen and Raina learned to not just appreciate each other's differences, but capitalize on them.
And then the result is this product that's the best parts of both of us.
So, instead of listing both their names on the book's now published cover, they came up with one pen name, Carissa Harper. And the early feedback for Cupid Grants a Second Chance is first rate.
Multiple people saying, I couldn't put it down. I'm tired at work today because I stayed up late reading last night.
While the plot follows a TV producer who creates a reality show that reconnects people with love interests from their past, this mother and daughter are looking forward to working together again in the near future.
I feel like the luckiest mother in the world.
And we've created something neither of us could have done without the other.
Adam Swatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News.
It's heavy and it's very dense.
I can see it too, and I can breathe it in. It's a little thicker.
Thick and smoky. A spike in wildfire activity sparks an air quality warning. How long could it last? Also tonight.
Stop issuing visas for any new temporary foreign workers coming into the country.
Conservatives call for an end to Canada's temporary foreign worker program, saying those largely low-paying jobs can be filled by Canadians. Why business owners say it's not that simple. And
several days in a row, anyhow, it was in the park accessing picnics.
No picnic is safe. The Burnaby Mountain Bear that has conservation officers concerned.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. You can see, smell, and feel it in the air. Wildfire smoke has invaded Metro Vancouver, and now there's an air quality warning across the region. Right now, more than 150 wildfires are burning in British Columbia. CTV's Kevin Chirac joins us live. So, Kevin, what's it like out there?
Well, Nafisa, it's muggy, smoky. You can smell it in the air. You can feel it in your throat. And I'll tell you, just working for a short time outside, I started to feel a little woozy. Officials say smoke coming from wildfires burning north of Hope, the Caribou region, the U.S., and near Whistler has converged, blanketing much of Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. For most of the day, Vancouver ranked as the most polluted major city in the world, according to IQAir.com. And many people we spoke with were feeling the...
It definitely feels heavy, like when you... Definitely feels heavy, like when you breathe. It feels way heavier.
It's heavy and it's very dense.
I feel a little fatigued this morning, a little tired from the air.
Some people may have more severe symptoms like difficulty breathing or a tight chest. If you're having severe symptoms from wildfire smoke, please seek medical care.
Dr. Henderson says most people's minor symptoms should go away when the smoke leaves, but authorities say it could stick around for the next few days. Young children, seniors, and people with respiratory issues are considered particularly vulnerable. People are being advised to avoid strenuous activity outside, drink lots of water. You can wear an N95 mask as well. They say that helps as well. Close your windows, and if you have an air purifier in your home, that can help protect you from the smoke as well. Nafisa, back to you.
Good advice. Thanks, Kevin. And this just in, the Coquihalla Highway has been closed in both directions between Hope and Merritt due to a growing wildfire that crews have been monitoring rather than fighting in recent days. The nearly 500-hectare Mine Creek wildfire is burning on a steep slope west of the highway, about 45 kilometers northeast of Hope. An investigation is underway after a fatal stabbing in East Vancouver. Officers were called to a home near Fraser and East 6th just before 1 a.m. Police say the 54-year-old victim died before he could be taken to hospital. No arrests have been made, and it is unknown if the victim and suspect knew each other. Anyone with information is asked to call the VPD homicide unit. It is day 2 of the strike by BC Public Service workers with picket lines across the province. It's a labor dispute being watched closely by other unions. CTV's Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria with the latest. Rob.
Navisa, more than 2,000 members of the BC Government Employees Union were back on the picket line today, most of them at locations in Victoria, 7 locations in Victoria, including outside the Royal BC Museum, where many tourists were discouraged from entering. There were also picket lines again today in Surrey at an ICBC Centre, where folks couldn't renew their licenses, as well as in Prince George. The union is pushing for better wages and says it will escalate its job action if there's not a better offer on the table.
Right now, in terms of where you might see this expand, we're not going to reveal our strike strategy, but what we will say is this will definitely expand and escalate if government doesn't come to the table with a fair offer.
So far, there is not an offer that's brought the two sides back to the table. The finance minister today issued a note indicating, quote, "We must acknowledge the reality that BC finds itself in right now with a limited fiscal position and strong economic headwinds. The impacts of the U.S. trade war are being felt across Canada, and we must make decisions based on what's best for all British Columbians." And there's a lot of eyes on what's happening with this BCGEU contract. There are multiple unions that are up for renegotiating their deals, including the Nurses Union with 50,000 or more members, as well as the BC Teachers Federation. So they have about 50,000 members as well. They're keenly watching what's happening here because they're renegotiating their deals in the fall as well. So a lot on the line here in Nafisa.
Rob Buffum live in Victoria. Thank you, Rob. Police in Vancouver are asking the public to keep an eye out for a missing 14-year-old girl. Sasha Henneque was last seen at her family home near West 16th Avenue and McDonald at 1 a.m. Sunday. She is believed to have been wearing a black hoodie and Nike sneakers and may be carrying a black backpack. Family says this type of behavior is out of character for Sasha, and anyone who sees her is asked to contact 911 immediately. A Surrey family whose grandfather has been missing for a week is pleading with the public for help.
I've never lived more minute to minute than right now. You wake up at night and you desperately grab your phone, hoping for a message or some update that maybe somebody's seen him somewhere.
Christina Morrison says her dad, William, or Bill Hayworth, wandered down the driveway of her parents' home in Fraser Heights last Wednesday, but never came home. She says her father has dementia, but always knows how to get home. The former high school teacher was wearing a white baseball hat, blue shirt, black shorts, and white sneakers. Christina is asking people to check any security video they may have.
Never once has he strayed, never once has he caused any reason for alarm that he may not make it home.
Surrey police are asking anyone with information to contact them, and if you find Hayworth, police say you should wait with him until they arrive, as he might be disoriented. Industry and business groups in BC are pushing back against a call from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre to scrap the temporary foreign worker program. Poilievre claims the program is making it harder for young people to find work, but multiple sectors, including the restaurant and hotel industries, are heavily reliant on temporary foreign workers. They argue Canadians simply aren't applying for many of the positions in those areas.
Really bad policy on his part. He doesn't understand the industry. We are 20,000 people short in our industry in cooks and chefs, and there's not a hope that we have enough domestic population to satisfy that from today and years to come.
I take no issue with adjusting the levels of temporary foreign workers, changing some of the program constraints, but to suggest that we end the program is completely divorced from what's happening in the labor market across the country.
Poilievre did say he would like to see the program kept for temporary workers in the agriculture sector, which often struggles to attract labor. Surrey City Councillor Linda Annis has announced that she is running for mayor.
I've spent the past 7 years getting to know my community as a city councillor. I know what's on your mind, and I want you to know I'm on your side.
Annis, who is also executive director of Metro Vancouver Crime Stoppers, was first elected to Surrey Council in 2018, re-elected in 2022. She says her biggest priority is public safety and that she will ensure the police transition is completed quickly. The next civic election is set for October 2026. Well, the race to find a new federal NDP leader is officially underway. The party is framing it as an opportunity for renewal after being reduced to just 7 seats and losing official party status. No candidates have officially thrown their hats into the ring yet, but the rules are out. The entry fee is $100,000, and to get their name on the ballot, interested candidates must gather signatures from 500 party members. One rule stipulates at least 50% of the total required signatures must be from members who do not identify as a cis man.
I think it's important that a modern political party reach out and require leadership candidates to talk to the full array of Canadian culture in our society, and so I think it's a good thing.
That's interim leader Don Davies, who confirms he will not be running. The party will vote for the new leader in a ranked ballot format at a convention in Winnipeg in March of next year. Home sales in Metro Vancouver were up slightly through the month of August thanks to a fall in prices, but it was a different story in the Fraser Valley. A new report from the Greater Vancouver Realtor says overall residential sales climbed 3% last month to the same time last year. However, that's still close to 20% below the 10-year average. Fraser Valley home sales fell 13% in August compared to last year, despite softer prices, and that puts it 36% below the 10-year average. Still ahead, will it be a FIFA frenzy? We now know when World Cup tickets will go on sale, and that story's coming up, but first.
He is serving as the ambassador, back-to-school ambassador at the UBC bookstore.
Meet Robson, a little robot turning a lot of heads at UBC. We'll show you exactly what it's doing there when CTV News at 5 returns. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a fire to tear through a strip mall in Port Moody overnight. Police say the fire broke out around 1:30 at the corner of St. John's and Williams Street. 2 businesses were seriously damaged, but no injuries have been reported. 3 robotic ambassadors are now helping students get ready for the new school term at UBC. The trio of Kiwi bots named Gray, Kelly, and Robson began working inside the UBC bookstore. The mini fridge-sized machines, built by a San Francisco robotics company, use artificial intelligence and Rogers 5G technology to interact with people. Kelly is answering student questions, while Gray and Robson are handing out treats to make students feel welcome. The robots navigate using sensors and cameras, but they don't record any identifiable images.
It is opening a whole can of opportunities, right, for our research community to look at human-machine interaction, and also, right, not to mention machine-to-machine interactions, because these robots down the road is going to talk to each other.
UBC leaders say the robots also help make a big campus feel more welcoming, especially for new students. The Kiwi bots will be at the UBC bookstore through September. An Abbotsford family business is looking for answers, saying their business has become a target for illegal dumping, and they feel like it's a never-ending problem. Emma McCauley from Future Climate's Refrigeration says Monday evening they caught this on their security camera: a man dumping trash on their property. And that trash was spread out over the parking lot and included underwear, other clothing, kids' toys, and kitchen appliances. Despite having clear signage next to the dumpster stating no illegal dumping, McCauley says this is just one of 50 times in the last year this has happened.
It's frustrating when you come in and it's the beginning of your day and you have to clean up somebody else's mess.
CTV reached out to Abbotsford Mayor Ross Siemens, who emphasized the importance of reporting illegal dumping. In a statement, he told CTV News if there is a record of the license plate or the persons doing the illegal dumping, bylaw services can issue a warning, education, or fines as warranted. FIFA has released new details on how it will begin selling tickets for the World Cup, including the 7 matches at BC Place. A week from today, the first pre-sale lottery for 1 million tickets will be open to Visa card holders. Winners will be notified on September 29th and given a time slot to buy tickets, which start at $60 US for group stage matches because, well, reselling will be allowed. British Columbians who want to see one of the 7 matches at BC Place will be competing against fans and ticket brokers from all over the world.
Out of that 1 million tickets, realistically, do you think very many are actually planning to come to the city and go to that game?
No. I would think it'd be an opportunity to make some money for a lot of the people. You know, if you get a chance, it's like winning a lottery. I just won the lottery. Wow. You know.
And I can resell them.
Yes, exactly.
Some resale sites are already offering tickets for the Canada Games, even though they aren't actually for sale yet. Gambling these prices will net them a profit, and they can source enough seats to fulfill orders. Well, after the break, it was a quiet afternoon in the park. It's a picnic basket he's after. We'll show you how a hungry bear cleared out of Burnaby Park. Plus, Caroline's got the forecast live from Nat Bailey Stadium. Stay with us. Look at that, a live look at Nat Bailey Stadium tonight, home of the Vancouver Canadians, and baseball season's not over yet. Caroline Frolic down at the game tonight. So, Caroline, how is it looking down there?
It's hot, Nafisa. In case we haven't talked about it enough, it is hot. But yes, what I can feel, though, is a breeze coming in from this way. So if you're on the fence about coming to the game because of the heat, don't. Just get over here, support your Vancouver Canadians as they take on the Everett Aqua Sox, the Seattle Mariners affiliate. As the sun goes down, the temperature will drop, and it will be a perfect night for a ball game. But before we get to the forecast, let's talk about the warnings and advisories that are in place, beginning with this special air quality statement. It is in effect for much of the province, really. They're all listed there, including Metro Vancouver, Fraser Valley, up through Whistler. So if you have any respiratory issues, try to limit your time outdoors. Now, if that weren't enough, we have a heat warning still in place for the North Coast, including Terrace. Daytime temperatures remain in the low 30s, and South Thompson region temps continuing to approach the 35-degree mark. So let's remain in the southern interior, shall we? Taking a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Kamloops under the heat warning and the special air quality statement, and we'll see highs in the mid-30s tomorrow. Vernon, Revelstoke also under the air quality statement. For the region, temperatures will remain unseasonably hot and dry in the high 20s to low 30s. Central interior, more of the same, also under a special air quality statement as we speak. Prince George, Quesnel, Williams Lake, local smoke and temps in the upper 20s. Bella Coola, the heat warning is still in place. Expect another hot, sunny day tomorrow. Air quality also an issue in Fort Nelson and Fort St. John areas. Wildfire smoke in abundance there. Terrace, another hot one. To Port Hardy now, you'll see periods of drizzle and 17 degrees there. Campbell River, Comox, hot, hazy, dry, 28 degrees. Hazy day ahead on the South Island. Some cloud cover in Tofino, Ucluelet, Port Alberni. Hazy and hot for the rest of the area. Victoria, a mix of sun and cloud, highs in the mid-20s. Mainly sunny on the Sunshine Coast. Powell River Seashell, highs in the mid to upper 20s. Whistler, a hot one. Lower mainland, expect another hot, smoky day. Now, as we take a look at the 5-day, the temperatures will feel like 30 to 35 degrees as you head toward the valleys. We do get a bit of a reprieve in terms of the weather over the weekend, but still the hot conditions remain. Nafisa?
Caroline, thank you so much. A black bear that's very fond of picnics and showing no fear of humans is still on the loose on Burnaby Mountain. The city has now shut down the picnic area and is telling the public to steer clear. CTV's St. John Alexander reports.
Not big on social graces, with no qualms about crashing the party or helping itself, the black bear has become a regular at the lunch table.
Several days in a row, anyhow, it was in the park accessing picnics, yeah.
Spotted several times now around Burnaby Mountain, the park and neighborhood, the bear is a concern for conservation officers. They advise keeping away until it's caught.
It's certainly not a place I would want to take my family, knowing that there's a bear that's habituated to humans and showing no fear. So find another spot to go for a picnic.
A live trap has been set up after another picnic feast over the weekend, but so far the bear will not be duped. It's not clear how it became so bold. The animal may have been fed or found garbage.
We do have a number of calls in the area outside the park of bears accessing garbage as well, so it's likely the same bear. Where they lose all fear of humans and will approach humans literally just to get the food immediately beside them, or potentially even if someone's holding the food, it could grab the food from their hand.
Anyone who spots the hungry bear should report it and, of course, stay well out of its way. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Burnaby.
After the break, natural wonder. We'll show you how some humble-looking water lilies are doing some serious heavy lifting. We'll be right back. With the Stanley Park train out of commission for the rest of the year, a new attraction is moving into the site this fall. Harry Potter, a Forbidden Forest experience, will open November 7th. Visitors will be able to explore an illuminated trail filled with fantastic beasts and wizarding world moments. Vancouver is the first Canadian city slated to host the experience, which has wowed over 2 million visitors worldwide. Tickets cost around $50 and go on sale starting next Wednesday, September 10th. Now the preview of CTV News at 6, Mi-Jung Lee.
Nafisa, earlier in the show, you mentioned a missing 14-year-old Vancouver girl. Police have just told us she has been found safe. We're also watching the closure of the Coquihalla Highway. A wildfire is raging right next to the highway now. And an air quality warning has been issued for Metro Vancouver. The thick haze is from wildfires from both sides of the border. The heat making it worse. Vancouver's now ranked as having the worst pollution of any major city in the world. And librarians are sounding the alarm about a vital public service. They say provincial funding has not kept up and they are struggling to survive. And police are investigating a fatal stabbing at a home on East 6th and Fraser. I'll be back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi-Jung. A bizarre viral contest pits enormous weight-bearing lily pads against each other. Plus, scientists create glow-in-the-dark houseplants. CNN's Jeremy Roth has take a look at this.
Watch Botanical Gardens staff members crown a water lily weightlifting champion. Oh yes, it is a thing. Certain species of aquatic water lily leaves can grow up to an incredible 10 feet in diameter, and thanks to a dense network of radiating ribs and cross veins on their underside, these prodigious pads can also hold an impressive amount of weight. So impressive that staff at the Denver Botanic Gardens started an annual water lily weigh-off contest, challenging public gardens, zoos, and universities worldwide to load up their lilies to the point just before the burly botanicals buckle. Dozens of institutions participated, but in the end it was Bok Tower Gardens from Florida that took the top honors with a lily load of 183 pounds, edging out the reigning champ by a mere 1 pound. Bok Tower Gardens staff members took to social media to celebrate literally standing tall on one of their winning weightlifting water lilies. Well, now they're just showing off. Here's some more plant-based news you may find illuminating. Scientists have created glow-in-the-dark houseplants they say can recharge with sunlight. A new study published in the scientific journal Matter says researchers injected succulents with a liquid compound fueled by strategically sized phosphor particles similar to those used in glow-in-the-dark toys. And just like those toys, the study showed the succulents didn't just shine, but could re-illuminate after exposure to sunlight. They even created an impressive wall of 56 gleaming plants they say was bright enough to read by. More research is needed to study the long-term effects on the plants, but the team says this simple and low-cost process could help pave the way for sustainable plant-based lighting systems. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, we'll return for CTV News at 6 with Mi-Jung Lee. Right now, here is Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News. Thanks for joining us.